everything is like far more these days than it was, 8 years ago. The amount of online content is utterly ridiculous these days. You can find out anything about anything. Also, there's a lot of bad information. You've got to be able to pick out what's valid. But yeah, coffee roasting, the software has changed to help with coffee roasting, to help understand the science of it. The Q Grader course run by the Coffee Quality Institute began while I was running Dear Grains, so I'm now a qualified Q Grader. The Specialty Coffee Association has advanced what it does, so we're authorised trainers here for the Specialty Coffee Association at Dear Grain as well. So instead of just offering normal barista training, we're accredited to give a formal qualification, which is really great, which again is just to have integrity in what we do. So all of these things have become available to us over time. So I think as a learning curve with coffee, I've definitely, I know that I've got a really developed palate, which I didn't have right at the start. I had a lot of passion and I had a good palate, but I hadn't developed it formally, scientifically. So now I can really trust what I taste and what I smell, and how I can document that and how I can judge and grade coffee. And I trust my team as well, that we're well calibrated that way. In terms of business, I guess people buy from people, so sales is about that. If you're a good person, good product, good service, that's what it's all about. So I think learning a bit more possibly about sales has probably happened just by the experience of doing it. Accounting, oh my goodness, I had no clue. My first year, my friend explained my end of year accounts to me, and I'm like, oh, cool, okay. So I've learned a lot about accounting, financial strategies, pricing, stuff that I feel quite interested in, and quite like, cranking out spreadsheets every once in a while. I love a spreadsheet just to help analyse what we have going on in the company, but I didn't know a whole lot about that, and that's something that's key, I think, to running a business. HR is another thing, how to hire the right people, how to keep them engaged, how to make them be a valued member of your team, which everyone here completely is. That's something that didn't really come too easily to me. Probably lacked confidence in that area, and then worked on that. Yeah, oh my goodness, there's just so much, isn't there, in a business? It's not, like right now I'm back roasting coffee and delivering coffee, and I love it. I love doing that. So even doing doing an efficient route for delivering your coffee, to save you time, to save you fuel, that's something else to learn. Yeah, I could be here all day talking about it. You can tell.
What's so interesting though about running your own business is that if you do, at the beginning you do everything yourself, and then as you say, you've kind of developed over the years, made a team, and probably have people helping with all these different parts of your business, but there are times where you still are dropping off deliveries or there's times that you're still going to go back to doing those initial tasks, and I think you have to learn as you go. It's really the only way that you can continue to grow as a business owner, especially running a kind of small business where everything is handmade or made locally. It's just the way it has to be. And I think that's what's so interesting about it, is that you learn to wear all these different hats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to. You can outsource stuff. Maybe I'm just a control freak and I'm like, I want to do everything. Maybe I'm really bad at delegating. I think that's a truth. Yeah, you have to learn to let go of some things so you can progress other things. I probably held back some of our progress because of that. I didn't want to stop roasting. That's why I started the company. But then it got to a point where I had to stop roasting. Someone else had to roast because there's so many other things that no one else could deal with except me, and I had to get on with that. It's nice to wear all the hats. It's nice to be able to dip into everything. And right now, we've got a really small team. We're operating very leanly at the moment, and we're honouring everyone's holidays right now. So everyone's often, a different person's off every week, pretty much between now and Christmas. So whoever's off, I'm covering their role, because that's what you have to do as a business owner. So I was roasting coffee last week. I'm delivering and packing this week, and I think I'm on admin shifts next week. And so yeah, if you can't wear all the hats in your business, you have to make sure you have people who can, and you're good at delegating and getting the right people to do the jobs. If you try and do them all, it's not necessarily a good thing. For a small company during a pandemic, it's spot on.
Oh. Well, speaking of the pandemic, so I had mentioned earlier that this episode is quite timely. So Lisa is the founder of the Glasgow Coffee Festival as well. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
And obviously, with us being in the midst of a pandemic, things are going to be a little bit different this year. So can you tell us a little bit about the festival, and I guess the changes that you've had to make in the way that you've had to adapt it so that it can still go ahead?
Sure, yeah. So the Coffee Festival I started in 2014. And it was just a way of, like we were talking about already, like, you know, Glasgow not really having the coffee culture that other places had that I had experienced, and I wanted to bring that to Glasgow. So I did that through starting Dear Green. But then also in 2014, I was thinking, we don't have a coffee festival, and we don't have an event so much in Glasgow that other places have, or in Scotland, you know, that other places have. So I just hired a hall and got loads of different cafes and coffee related businesses to take a stand, and people to buy tickets to come, and all the coffee from the city, or, you know, around Scotland as well, was showcased. So that just sort of has grown arms and legs. We moved to 2-day festival, and then we started having after parties and fringe events, and, you know, national barista competitions. We started the UK Coffee Roasting Championship at the festival, all sorts of stuff. And then pandemic. So this year I was quite relieved in a way not to organise the festival initially. It's a lot of hard work. So we rescheduled it from May to October, thinking quite optimistically at the start of March that would be a good plan. As you know, the months rolled on, we were like, hey, there's no way we can do this. The venue staff were furloughed, so we couldn't even change, no one was answering us. We couldn't even change dates. So we finally managed to change it. But during that time, I had a lot of thought processes of how can we do something. So came up with a plan, and I ran it across a few people first, a few cafe owners, like, is this viable? Would you be involved in this? Would you want to go to this? So what we've decided to do is we've managed to get 50 businesses involved, independent businesses, all majority are like coffee roasters or cafes or another independent business that can be associated with the festival. And we've asked them to offer a discount, anything they want to do. If they want to do 2 for 1, 20% off, free coffee when you buy a cake, or with a minimum spend, or with a bag of coffee, or whatever it is that suits them, that doesn't mean they're giving away loads of free stuff, that doesn't put them in a position of not being profitable, but gives them an opportunity, then they've all agreed to that. So 50 businesses offering a discount, and we're doing the festival over 10 days, and we're selling tickets online for £5. So for £5, people in Glasgow can get discounts in 50 businesses for 10 days. So the idea is to encourage footfall to these businesses, but also to sort of give something back to consumers that, hey, you can get discounts in all these great places. And in fact, maybe you could have a day out in the West End if you're living the South Side, and these are the places we suggest you go to that are awesome. And vice versa, like with like there's places in Denniston, the Gallowgate where we're based as well, Southside, so like Shawlands, Strathbungo, Govan Hill, Victoria Roads, and the West End as well. Partick, Finniston, Park Road. So like city centre is another one. So I'm trying to encourage people to go around the city centre and really make that effort, because those businesses are struggling the most. Hopefully it's win-win for everybody. Sorry, is that my email's kicking off? Should I? Can you hear my emails pinging in the background?
No,
all right.
Okay, don't worry.
My inbox is non-stop. So that's the idea. So 50 businesses, 10 days, and we've sold over 600 tickets. So anyone who had a ticket for the original festival can come to this. and they'll still be able to go to the next planned date, whenever that will be, currently scheduled for next May. We'll see how that goes.
See how it goes.
Yeah, but lots of online content. We've got sponsors like La Marzocco, Keep Cup, Moschio, Farm Milk. So they're all sort of aligned with the festival as well. We've got a great company called Story Shop, who are doing all the social media and the PR for the event as well, which is really lovely because we don't really have the resources to do it. So we just sort of came up with the idea, coordinated it, and kind of passed it on to other people to make it happen. And it's all really positive. So it's just about supporting local, and it's all completely legit within guidelines. So all these businesses are following the guidelines within the restrictions that we have. And even if there's any further kind of lockdown, which we've had announced last night, for example, they'll still be able to do takeaway, because many businesses were doing that during the very extreme 3-week initial lockdown. So we hope we've kind of thought of all the risks. We're just doing it in Glasgow, so everything's walking distance as well. So if people have to stay at home, but they're allowed out once a day, if there's travel restrictions, then it's all very localised. So hopefully we've thought of everything, and we're offering something to people who will appreciate it and will enjoy it, and will have some new experiences through it, and will taste some exceptionally delicious coffee as well.
I think what's so great about it is what you said, it is win-win. So obviously this has been an incredibly tough year for everybody, but for small businesses in particular, and having a chance to get some new footfall, maybe some new customers in the door. And then likewise on the other side of that, like for example, I stay in Finniston. There's kind of my favorite cafe and 3 or 4 other cafes that I'm in all the time. But I often don't venture too far outside that unless I'm meeting a friend who maybe stays in another neighborhood, or meeting them somewhere close to a train station or whatever. So this is an opportunity to find out about other great cafes that have, are part of the kind of craft coffee scene, and are really into the same sort of values that your company promotes and that a lot of people really believe in, that maybe we never would have found had we not taken part.
Yeah, exactly. So I think in Finniston, you've got Maze are part of the event. And if you wander up West End a little bit further, you go up to Partick, we've got CAF up there. Meadow Road as well are also on Dumbarton Road, and Space. So you're lucky. You're all right. You've got loads of places nearby for you. If you wander through the park, you can go to Broken Clock Cafe. And
I've been there loads.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Incredible.
If you do go just around the corner, you'll be at Black Pine as well on Great Western Road. And in the city, we've got River Hill, we've got Spitfire, we've got Laboratorio Espresso, and gosh, there's just so many. That's just some off the top of my head just to name a few. But yeah, I think it's something that hopefully it's worth doing and everybody will be interested in. We've already looking at different associations with other companies as well. Like Two Birds are going to try and do a route plan for us for a half marathon around all of the cafes. That'll be fun. And like looking at sort of different like bicycle routes, and even taking in like the Glasgow Mural Trail, or visiting another park you haven't been to. Head over to Queen's Park. It's beautiful, and grab a coffee in Victoria Road and some great reward, or the other side of the park we've got BAM at Strathbungo, or Cafe Strangebrew up in Shawlands. They're all these great places, and have a wander around the duck pond at Queen's Park and up to the lookout and look across Glasgow. Hopefully lots of people are going to buy into it, and lots of businesses will be supported.
Absolutely. And I think just the idea of exploring your city a little bit more, because so many of us do fall into that trap of like staying within our own neighborhood. So I think and everybody's so fed up with it. Like I know for myself, before lockdown, I absolutely loved where I am, and I still do. I love Finniston. I love that it's all other small businesses and independently owned cafes, and loads of artists and other creatives around as well. But I definitely got sick of like the same walking route, the same running route. You do kind of get tired of it when you've been so limited for so long. So I think the timing of this, you know, while I imagine the challenge it must have been to adapt everything in the pandemic, I think an event like this will work so well because people are ready to get out and explore and try something new after 6 months of not being able to do that.
Yeah, hopefully. I think we've